Good morning, good evening, wherever you are around the world. I am Andrew Baker, and this is Friendly Fire. And my guest this morning is Eddie Williams from the Facebook group Mayan Belts.
What's up, guys? How you doing?
Is it pronounced Mayan, Mian? I see all sorts of.
Mayan is actually their crest name, as they
Okay,
call it. His name is Madassar. His brother that you see all the time is Kirban. Then he has another brother that does the paint work and some of the unsung work that you don't see. His name is Muzamal. All great people, man. They're like brothers to me. So anything they need it, like they would with, I think they do with me. Like you see, I'm there for them, brother.
excellent, excellent. They do great work. I've seen a lot of great, fantastic looking belts from them, and hopefully I can be one of their customers in the future.
We're looking forward to it, buddy.
My first question I'll ask: how did you get involved with the belt makers and the Facebook groups?
Um, it's one of those things where you got to earn your stripes a little bit. Like I've been collecting for, I'm 45, so I've been collecting for 20 years. But it's one of those things, you know, when you're kids, you didn't really have much to choose from, and then they had the replicas. You know, I had a couple replicas, and then there was a point where I want to say early 2017 where I seen a group which I just happen to be an admin in now as of today, Wrestling Belt Reviews. If you're not in that, that's one hell of a group. I mean, we're 2,000 strong, a lot of great people. Like I said, it's been my home group, and I'm actually officially an admin today. So I seen that group looking through Facebook. I decided to join it. I didn't have any belts at that time. So I joined the group. I actually seen, once I was on that group, I think a day or two, Jermaine Floyd, he knows about it. It's a famous way that I started in this group is he had a bunch of belts lined up down his stairs. And I'm like, holy crap. I'm like, you know, that's what I want. So I became obsessed at that point. What you got to do in this hobby is be honest and, you know, good with everybody, you know, because a lot of this is built on trust. Overseas collectors, as you know, we have a lot of scam artists and we have a lot of stuff like that going on. It makes stuff for people like me, you know, that much harder. People like you know what I mean? When you want to have an honest, you're in Australia, you know, you don't know if they're going to send it to you or not. So, I mean, it can create problems. But anyway, I started from there. My first belt was a big green 2mm brass by Mateen. I got a couple of belts from some other people. Once I got my first zinc belt, you know, then it's like once you get that, you never want to go back to the brass. Then I had some, you know, I had a good relationship with Mateen. Of course, you know, he works with Dustin. I stumbled across Mayan last year around July. You know, he was needing some help. So I was like, you know what, I'd be honored to help you. I like your work. You know, I see you have a lot of potential. He's only 22 years old. Maybe I could put you over the hump. You know, put my reputation out there, and the confidence, you know, and the trust that people have in me. And you bring the work, you know, I bring the sales, and we put it all together. And, you know, so far for the past 7 months, we've grossed $70,000 in sales. And we've been doing a great job. Our AEW was our bread and butter. The second that came out, I tried to get as close to artwork as we could. And of course, you know, he put it together and it keeps getting better. So I'm really grateful for him. I'm really grateful to people that have had faith in us. And the way you do that is through honesty. And, you know, like I said, just don't sidestep anybody. A lot of these people have been in the hobby for a while. You know, they just want to hear honesty and have good communication. That's what we pride ourselves in. So that's kind of how I got started. You know, the rest has been history.
Excellent. You all do great work in that short of time. That's amazing.
Right. Usually around 12 weeks.
Comment from Gene. Hey, bro. Hey, Gene. How you doing this morning? No, thank you for joining us. Now, how old were you, and what started your interest with professional wrestling?
Oh man, I can tell you, I was probably, I want to say I was about 12 years old. Probably early 1986. One of the first matches I ever seen was WWF. I saw Randy Savage versus Georgie Animal Steel for the Intercontinental title. That was the first title I fell in love with, the red logo Intercontinental title. It's one of the first belts I had, and it's always one that's real near and dear because that's the one that, you know, like I remember seeing first. And then all of a sudden, back in the day, the first kind of cable people had was satellite TV. So one day I lived in California at that time. So that's where I grew up in the Los Angeles area. Um, I stumbled across over where I'm at 6:05, but over where I lived on the West Coast, it was 3:05 on WTBS. The first show I happened to see was when Ric Flair introduced the Big Gold. And then I saw the TV title and, just they were more believable. You know what I mean? I mean, you've seen Hulk Hogan, you've seen Randy Savage, but these guys were real people on NWA. I'm like, oh, I love this. I love the belt. And then I fell in love after that. Then World Class, I would see that on Friday. Me and my dad and family would have dinner. Saturday, we would watch AWA in the morning. And then it was from there. I got the dolls. I used to have the old foam belts that they used to sell back in the arenas. One of the first matches I ever seen in the LA Spectrum was Andre the Giant versus Randy Savage. So, I mean, it's been with me for a while. It kind of went away in my 30s, but then it's coming back now, especially in these belt groups. I meet good people like yourself, peers, this whole group that you guys have that I'm glad to see that's growing. And you just build friendships. I've got so many friendships on these things that, I could never be thankful enough.
Yeah, absolutely. If you told me and Piers this time last year that we'd be admins of a group that's growing bigger and bigger and making friends with all you belt guys and whatnot on the other side of the world, we wouldn't have believed you. And Piers said last night we had a bit of a chat with the group admins and that. He said if you told him this time last year that he'd be live streaming videos, talking to professional wrestlers, he said you would have been dreaming.
Right.
He wouldn't have believed you. He said he said incredible opportunity, and we look forward to getting bigger and better.
And it's changed a little bit. I mean, there's actually a lot more drama. I mean, unfortunately, that there used to be. Excuse me. A lot of these guys, a lot of these people don't like the live shows, or to each his own. But I mean, I think it brings everybody together. I think a lot of people like this. I mean, like myself. I mean, I like watching everybody's belts, everybody's excitement. Back when I started, when wrestling belt reviews, the funnest thing to do was just review a belt. You hardly ever see that anymore. I know everybody's been through all the belts and they've had them multiple times. I mean, I've had the Big Green probably 4 different times, but it doesn't make it any less more, fun than it was.
Yeah.
But I think today that, a lot of people, you got your old school people that they're used to it being a certain way. You got the new generation. I think there's room for everybody. There's sales for everybody. There's fun for everybody. People just got to worry about themselves, man. But like I said, I like where it's at right now. I enjoy, if you guys aren't on my on belts, join us. Like I said, we're real honest. We're honest on time frames. We put out the great work, wrestling belt reviews, Full Metal Debate with Jamie G. There's also your group, of course, that I enjoy, Brothers of the Belt with Josh, Carmine with Beltomania. You got Jermaine Floyd with Championship Belt Brothers. There's, you got Dustin King. He's got him and Mateen have ELT belts, and they have We Collect Wrestling. These are a lot of groups that I enjoy. You get a little bit of different stuff from everybody. So I mean, it's just fun for me. I love looking on my timeline, seeing new stuff.
Absolutely. And you said about the amount of shows that have popped up in the last few months or whatever. I don't look at it as a bad thing. It's
no.
It's something, especially for us down under, it's a way for us to interact with you Americans. And I know my show I sort of created as a way to get to know some of you guys a little bit more, have you on, get to know you. As long as the person's having fun, it might be out of their comfort zone as a way to sort of gain more confidence, more power to them if they want to get on and do a show. If you want to do it, do it. Have fun. Get to know the guys. Don't worry about what anyone else says.
That's the thing. A lot of people just, if they're not doing it or they see somebody else have fun doing it, they don't like it a lot of times. And like I said, I don't want to bash anybody, but I mean, a lot of that just needs to go away. Like myself, even like with Kevin and them, I left them out purposely, but Kevin and Wayne have been a real big help with the Wrestling Review Society. You know, he got the green screen. You know, he makes me. I got a microphone. You know, I'm going to have the green screen for my back. You know, he's going to help me do that. It's always something that I wanted to do. You know, I enjoy talking. I'm in sales. You know, I'm in the medical field. I sell medical equipment on the side. You know, that's my job. You know, this is more of a hobby for me, even though I spend more time doing this than my actual job. You know, because Belt's a full-time business. Like you said, you're in Florida. Like today, I've talked to Mayan in Pakistan. I talked to Jamie G in the United Kingdom. I talked to another guy I work with in Canada. And now I'm talking to you in Australia. You know what I mean? When can you honestly say that 10, 15 years ago you'd be able to do something like that?
Absolutely, yeah. Now, have you had any professional wrestling or combat training or anything like that at all? Or?
Me and my brother used to kickbox when I was younger. Kickboxing was a big deal for us. I used to play more baseball and football than anything, but you know, something that me and my brother did together was kickboxing. But I mean, I always enjoyed we always enjoyed the tough man. I was a big fan of Mike Tyson back in the day, Lennox Lewis, you know, Evander Holyfield. I still think that was a sweet time in boxing. I was real excited for Tyson Fury. I seen that coming a mile away. I mean, anybody that couldn't have seen that, I mean, it was quite obvious that Wilder was overmatched. He was overmatched in the first one. It's just Wilder only trained for like 4 months. He was 400 pounds on drugs, you know, basically trained in 120 days and almost beat him. So he hates his costume. He can say it was something else. It was just skill. But there's not that many Tyson Furies anymore like there used to be in the early 90s, late 80s.
Yeah, I think it's gone more towards the MMA and the UFC direction. These big pay-per-views and events and stuff, which isn't a bad thing. It's fun. Progression, I think.
Right. The evolution of the pay-per-view.
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm glad to see that we have more wrestling out there. Like, you know, you can choose from AEW. You know, have New Japan that's more mainstream than it used to be. You know, you have the WWE. You know, people will say ROH. You know, you got NWA on YouTube, which hopefully they'll hit a broader spectrum. So it's a lot of fun. I mean, it's a good time to be a sports entertainment fan or even a sports fan.
Absolutely. And a little bit towards that, you know, you hear these reports of WWE not giving guys their releases and offering them big money to stay and whatever. What is your opinion on that? And you know, wouldn't it be a better thing to have them go out and gain more experience, gain more exposure, and come back to the WWE bigger and better, like what Drew McIntyre did, for example?
No, I agree with you. I mean, that's a situation where I think competition creates ratings. I think competition is better for everybody. Vince is just, I mean, let's be honest, they joke about it, but Vince is power hungry. Vince has been dominant for a long time. I mean, you can say what you want, but the man's a legend. He's done it for a long time. He thinks no competition is good competition, but keeping these people being the fact that the WWE, no matter how much we like the storylines or anything like that, they're making a lot of money. You know, they're making a lot of money and they're doing the right thing as far as, you know, Fox, you know, the Saudi shows, things like that. They're even doing so well, they just stopped some of their, you know, their live gates. You know, they stopped doing those because they're doing so well. So to be able to keep somebody from somebody else, I mean, in Vince's head, he's thinking if I keep them, they can't go somewhere else and, you know, help, you know, because they know they're a talent. But, you know, Vince wants to put over who he wants to put over. So, I mean, more power to him. It's not what we want. It's what he wants. So I think it would be a good thing, but I don't like personally what he's doing, but I understand why he's doing it, I guess you would say. Yeah. I mean, money talks. If he can do it, he can do it. Yeah.
And the thing also there is, you know, WWE, they've got Raw, they've got SmackDown, they've got NXT, you know, and they've got so much talent on their roster. They're not getting some of these guys the exposure that they need. You know, it'd be more beneficial for the talent, for the company to let some of these, you know, underutilized guys go and and get out there and make a name and come back, and they're only hurt themselves, in my opinion.
No, they are hurting themselves. They're absolutely hurting themselves. The problem is, like I said, he's got so much money, he's got so much power that, I mean, he's got nothing to do but think about stuff like that. I mean,
Right.
I'm pretty sure he's paranoid that any time that he can go under. I don't see that happening. I don't see that happening for a long time, if ever. I mean, it could be a generational thing with the WWE. Of course, they'll have to make changes and go with the times, but having the revival, having you can just go a couple of names, even Finn Balor, a couple of these guys, they could move to an NXT talent. You want to move these guys, if they go to AEW, they go to NWA, they go to these places, it's not going to hurt Vince. There is enough talent. The problem is the storylines and what they're doing. A lot of people are talking about Goldberg. Okay. Goldberg, I thought about this. In the end of things, I'm not happy about it. I mean, to me, old school WrestleMania is, you start the day after WrestleMania, just like the game used to do, and it's a whole year process, and it comes to a head at the next WrestleMania. That's how it used to be. Now, because of ratings and board members and stocks, if it's going down, then they just want to change it. Let's just change it on a whim. I got a wild hair here, Triple H. I don't want that. Vince is telling him, I don't want this. Let's change it. Bray Wyatt, a lot of people talked about him. The best organic thing that they've had since maybe CM Punk, and before that, who knows? Now, would his gimmick get stale being the champion? I understand that. I understand why they took the belt off of him. I really do. I had to think about it for a while. It doesn't make sense how they did it, but I understand why they did it. I know that they put it on him because they were going to Fox, and what I've heard anyway, so him and Seth Rollins at that time, it was one of those things where they felt it was necessary to give the Fiend the title. Now, the Fiend should have been one of those guys that, like the Undertaker, that didn't need the title for a while, and then you give it to WrestleMania, whatever. Okay, but the problem is, there was no good way to take it off. And I've heard, I think his name is Richard. I don't remember what his last name is. I seen in one of these groups, which made a lot of sense. Cena is well known for, putting the shovel in him, or so it's said, at the WrestleMania, I think 30, when him and, Bray Wyatt wrestled, and he was on a high note. He got taken down a notch after that win that Cena got on him. So, they're trying to say where it plays around where, he had to lose the title, in order to get a match with Cena to get back at him. So, I mean, if they start playing that way, I mean, then it would make sense to me. But just to have Goldberg come in for one match at WrestleMania and take everything you've done with the Fiend, I mean, it doesn't make any sense. Now, if they do something good with it, like I said, great. But I don't know. It's looking pretty bleak, and I don't have a lot of confidence in the WWE to do that.
But I heard someone say, and I can't remember who, it might have been Kevin. I think it might have been Kevin, saying, we might not like it, but it's getting us talking, it's getting us interacting.
Oh, yeah.
It's getting all these opinions out there, which is a good thing, really.
No, it is. It is. Believe me, like I said, I can see every reason why they did it. I just don't know if it should have been done at the Saudi show. Now, I'm sure they got a lot of money thrown at them to do that. It creates a bunch of controversy. It's created a lot of more people talking than normal. But I mean, what I would have done, and I think Carmine said it. I mean, what made more sense is if you're going to have the Fiend lose, he should have been Bray Wyatt. He shouldn't have been his alter ego. He could have took a loss as the Yowie Wowie Bray Wyatt, and that would have made more sense. Or, like I said, you have the line where the Fiend purposely lost or didn't put a best effort so he could lose the title because he knew that he wouldn't be able to face John Cena unless he did. So, because he did tweet, I think he tweeted where what comes around goes around about in regards to that. So maybe they're going that way. And if they do that, I'll feel a lot better about it. Not that I matter, but I'm just saying as a fan, I would like to see that.
Yeah, exactly. You mentioned Mike Tyson that before in your answer. What did you enjoy his interactions with Stone Cold and DX back in the day?
Oh yeah, I mean that was at the time where he was already, I think, as an A1 boxer. He was already, it was past his time. He had a lot of pressure. I mean, I don't know if you watch a lot of documentaries about him. He was under a lot of pressure. He was young. He spent a lot of money. He did a lot of stupid things. I think around that time, he was back more coming to reality, I guess. I know he had a couple more things that he did after that, but as far as with the DX, I was real psyched about it. I heard he got $3 million just to do that. But it was a real fun thing, and I think it was a fun time, for wrestling, just having him in. I think it's something that he always wanted to do. I mean, I love Tyson now, but yeah, it was a big deal for me. I enjoyed it.
Nice. What have been some of your favorite moments from pro wrestling over the years?
The first one that comes to mind is WrestleMania 3. WrestleMania 3, the whole card up and down was a big deal. That's where they had 93,000. I know you're fully aware of that. The Giant versus Hogan was a huge match. I mean, everybody talks about Savage's Steamboat, and that was a great match. And it probably is one of the greatest matches of all time. But Hogan and Andre was where it was. It didn't matter if they just danced around the ring. I mean, it was a huge deal. Andre was already half, crippled at this time. They weren't even sure if he was going to be in the match. I don't know if you knew, but Paul Orndorff didn't have a match because they wasn't sure if Andre was going to be able to go. So it was going to be Orndorff and Hogan, which drew a lot of money back in the day. A lot of people don't remember that, but Orndorff was a huge draw with Hogan. I enjoyed Ric Flair. I think when Dusty Rhodes got his third reign, he won the Crumrine. That was a big deal to me. Warrior versus Hogan, the Horsemen. Those are some of the biggest moments when the Horsemen basically formed. Those just seem to reach out to me when I think about big moments. It was probably all those. The NWO, of course.
Yeah,
that form, that was huge.
And going back to topic of belts, do you have a favorite belt?
Yeah, I have actually a favorite set, but I mean, I have a favorite belt too. Like, my mom and dad have passed away, but my dad and mom were big wrestling fans. We used to watch, mainly as we were older. I used to watch the WCW, wrestling, the NWO time, and we watched the Attitude Era. But we first started, like I stated before, watching World Class on Friday. We would have dinner and stuff like that, and my dad enjoyed the Texas wrestling. I mean, to me, like I said, it was more realistic, like NWA, so I kind of had a feel for it. But the World Class collection is my favorite. I have 100 belts, give or take. It just depends if I'm trading. But the World Class collection is my most sacred possession. I have that in my living room. I got the rest in my office and basement, but I have that in my living room. My favorite belt of all time is the World Class American title. It's the nickel plated, got the lace. It's Rick Rude famously held it for a while. That's when I watched. That's who had it. Then they went over to the gold one that they had, but before that, the silver one. Yeah, that I even had it made in blue as well. So, and the one I have is dual plated. So it just brings a little bit better touch to it. But that's my favorite one of all time. Crumrine right behind that, the Dome Globe, but yeah, that's definitely my favorite.
Nice. I've lost my questions here. Hang on a second. I'll get on to the Hall of Fame. Okay. What's your opinions on the inductions announced so far? And if you could induct anyone, past or present, who would it be and why?
Well, Demolition comes to mind. I know they got lawsuits and stuff like that going on, but that's definitely somebody that's omitted right now. I mean, I understand why, but like I said, when they get an opportunity, because Vince is all about second. One day Vince is going to decide, I need them in the Hall of Fame, so they'll get in eventually. But Demolition needs to be in there. As far as the new ones, an unpopular opinion I'm going to say is the Bella Twins are in. Okay, and no, they weren't the greatest wrestlers. They didn't really blow your head away with anything. But I mean, they were very important in wrestling, I think, as far as they had their show. They were on the Divas show. Nikki actually, had the record for the longest Divas title reign for a while. Nikki held the title before. I think for what they did for the WWE and what they had them do, I mean, if you're going to have Coco Beware in the Hall of Fame, there's nothing wrong with having the Bella Twins in. I mean, I know a lot of people don't agree with that, but I mean, it's just like Goldberg. Goldberg, he makes money. We might not agree with the decision. I don't agree with the decision, but I mean, I understand why they're doing it. I mean, it's all about money. It's all about the stockholders. It's all about the bottom line. So, I mean, it makes business sense, even though it doesn't make wrestling sense. Sometimes, I guess you'd say.
Yeah. I think some of the problem for some of the people is that it's a bit soon for them to go in. There hasn't been that sort of period from retirement or anything like that for them to be going in. Just a thought I had the other day.
I can agree with that. I think if they waited a little bit longer, that some people might not be so sour about it, and they might appreciate what they did. You're right; It's a little bit soon. They're still in your face. You know what I mean? They still have their shows. You still hear a lot about them, so it's not like Victoria or I'm just throwing names out there that people from the Attitude Era, Molly Holly, these people that may not have been the greatest then, but like I said, once they're gone for a while, you know what I mean? You start appreciating what they did in their time. So, yeah, I believe you're right with that. I agree.
Do you think China should be going in solo at any point?
Excuse me, I got to think about that one. Sorry, I've had the flu. It's barely going away. I think she should go in by herself. I don't know if that's going to happen. I know Stephanie don't like her. I know Triple H.
I wonder why.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to that. And then when you think about it, bottom line, it's Vince's daughter. So, I mean, if they get her in, I mean, it's going to be a part of a group. I don't believe that it's going to be by herself. But like I said, if they need her, if they need some inductees, or if it gets to be a real popular opinion, Vince might eventually listen to the fans. But she definitely is a first ballot Hall of Famer by any means. So she definitely should be in there.
Absolutely. Do you think there should be a physical Hall of Fame? They've got all these things in the warehouse, all the props and stuff that they could use for displays in there or anything. I think it hinders the Hall of Fame to not have a physical location.
Yeah, they've talked about this quite a bit. I think you can have it. I think it's needed. I think a lot of people would go to it, but I also think that I don't think that Vince thinks that it's a big deal. I don't think it's very small peanuts, if you think about it compared to what he makes, with TV deals and all these other things that he does, to make a wing in Stanford, with all this stuff would mean a lot to us. But like I said, a lot of this stuff is props to him. That they even down to the wrestlers. I don't know how much even the wrestlers care about, these stuff. As far as that you're talking about, we do, and I know there are some wrestlers that do, but I don't know if it's on their importance scale where it needs to be. Now, to have a physical Hall of Fame that we can go in, I mean, it'd be great. It'd be like a mecca. I mean, it'd be something that you would want to do. I would want to do. I would definitely want to be there. Even take a virtual tour. It's something you could do online. I personally think that it's needed, but I personally don't think that they put it high on a pedestal. I mean, to do that, I mean, it would take away from the sports entertainment factor that they're trying to pull. Vince doesn't even like people to stay straps. He doesn't like, they're not even championships to them. They're just props. So they're more of the entertainment side of it. So until Triple H takes over or somebody like that, I don't know how important it's going to be.
just think of the amount of money they're missing out on by not having that.
I do, but like I said, I think when the Saudis throw 50 million at him, or when you have Brock Lesnar that made $2 million for 40 seconds or whatever he fought, I don't know how much that they think that. I don't know if they think it's important right now, but I think eventually they should think about it. It's
absolutely
to the fan. It's important.
Yeah, if you could go to that warehouse where they have all the props and whatever, what would you most like to see or hold or just sort of gaze at? What would that be?
I would say a couple of things come to mind. I think one, I wouldn't have to go to their warehouse to see it. Triple H in his office has most of the WWF titles, WWE, the world titles. I would love to see those.
Yep.
I would love if it was possible, to hold the original one that Buddy Rogers had. Maybe even the $1 million title. Those just stand out to me.
Yeah. I think me being the Undertaker fan, I'd love to go and be able to hold some urns or touch some caskets or tombstones or any of those Undertaker Kane props would be my dream.
Oh yeah. Oh, by the way, we have 3 Undertaker belts coming this week, Andrew. Just throwing that out there for you.
Is that the commemorative run that they brought out, or
the one that Wayne has. We have 3 of those coming this week.
Not a big fan of it. There's elements of the belt that I like, but I think it's too much on the main plate, and it just detracts from it, in my opinion.
I'm not normally, and I stated this before because a couple of people asked me, I'm not really a fan of a hybrid belt or a custom belt. But for some reason, after seeing this one and seeing the work that Mayan's put into it, I mean, not too bad. I mean, I'd have to say that it intrigued me. It's something I could possibly be interested in.
Yeah, I wouldn't. No offense to you or Mayan, or where I wouldn't pay for a belt like that. But if someone said, "Here you go, here's this belt, take it," I'd take it. But,
I'm like that with a lot of belts. I mean, that's part of collecting.
I just don't have the money to be able to spend on these things, especially with the Australian exchange rate, and then it's more for us than what you would pay, like amount wise, like 250 or whatever is like 370 Australian. It's for someone that doesn't earn a whole lot,
Well, that's
really
the thing about us, brother. That's the thing about us. We pay half the shipping anywhere in the world. I don't know if a lot of people know that we pay half the shipping. It's just a courtesy that we do. It doesn't make us any money doing that, but it helps people like you get belts. And we haven't decided what it's going to be, but just like I said, not even for this title, but just in general, it's definitely not going to be as much as the shop is for sure. So we try to make it affordable. We do payments, not to get into what I do, but just we try to make. We got a guy paying $20 a week, so. We're all cool about that. What's up, Kevin?
Hello, Kevin.
Speaking of Kevin,
special guest coming in. Piers.
My man. What up,
bro? How you doing?
I'm doing well, man. Just enjoying my second week of holidays. Just got back from the Gold Coast yesterday. So, man, just
love you too, Kevin.
Yeah, man. Kevin's a great dude. I literally just got off the phone to Kevin. So
I'm gonna do that. I just ordered a green screen and I already had the mic and stuff. I mean, not that I'm gonna go like I'm not gonna go all gung ho like you guys, but when I do a review and stuff, I want to be a little more executive like. So, I'm gonna have Kevin teach me the green screen and stuff like that. So I'm excited for that, Kevin. I'll be in touch this week.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, that setup is amazing, bro. So sorry, I'm sorry I'm a bit late, guys. I just had a few things happening, but how's everyone going anyway?
Pretty good. I'm just getting over the flu, but other than that, I probably coughed on this man, probably 4 or 5 times, unfortunately.
No. Hey,
what's up, man?
Yeah, so that's awesome, man. What do you think of AEW, the show we just had?
I loved it. I love the show. I'm just really shocked that they took the belt off Jericho. I mean, I'm sure he could get it back. It's not going to take from anything that Jericho does, but I just think the Le Champion and the money that it's made and the difference that the way he's carried the company, I think they could have won a couple rounds with it. It wouldn't have hurt Moxley to lose. I think they could, unless they just plan on, doing something different. Now, if they want to go Moxley MJF, I mean, like me and Kevin were talking about, I mean, I'm all for that. I mean, that's MJF is probably the biggest star, next to, the Fiend, as far as the biggest name that's been coming out, in my opinion, lately.
I agree. I love MJF.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if you caught the interview we did with Maven Bentley, who is one of the promoters for Combat Zone Wrestling. But
a little bit of it.
Yeah, so he actually turned around and said, because MJF spent an early bit of his career in Combat Zone Wrestling, and one show, MJF wanted to come out and went up to Maven and said, "Hey, I want to go out to the ring and take a shit on the American flag." And Maven went, "What do you mean? You want to badmouth the flag?" He goes, "No, I want to come out to the ring, lay a flag down, pull my pants down, and do a shit on the flag." And Maven went, "No fucking way." And he said, "This guy wants to be the most hated man in wrestling." And to be honest, he does not break kayfabe, man. And that is what it needs. Man, I love the character. I love him.
You ready for Jeopardy, Piers?
Fuck yeah, I'm ready for Jeopardy. I'm ready to fucking wipe the floor.
Good luck, man. I mean, I don't excel at that stuff at all, man. That stuff is, I mean, I can tell you anything about, like, if I watch the wrestling, but I mean, I either watch it or I don't watch it at all. You know what I mean? So if you say, give me this for 500, I might not know nothing about that. I could probably tell you WWF wise, I could tell you when it was created, NWA. But like I said, if you shoot me, CZW, some NXT, things like that, I may be like, I'm done. Even though I love it, I don't follow it like I should sometimes.
Yeah. I try and get as much time in front of the TV as I can. Whenever the kids are in bed, the wife goes to bed, I'm watching as much as I can find. Indie shit, everything. Like, I am completely addicted to wrestling and have been since I was, like, you know what I mean? For a guy that lives in Australia, I know way too much about independent wrestling from the United States in the early 2000s.
I love independent wrestling, man. I mean, it's a good thing. We even got some people, they're not high profile in the indies, I guess you would say, but we get people in Mayan belts all the time. Hey, can you make our heavyweight title? We need some tag team titles, stuff like that. So we got some stuff coming out, some surprises with that. So I'm real excited. There's this one belt. I can't say anything yet, but it's got to be the most unique title I've ever seen in my life, man. So I'm excited to show this thing in a couple months. So that's something I can, I'll even try to post on this page if you guys. It's something I think you guys would love.
Please do, man. You're always welcome to post and promote. We love Mayan belts. We're a big supporter of Mayan and the work that you guys do. You guys are always welcome to post. That's you don't need permission from us.
We try to not to get too far on a tangent with it, but like I told Andrew, like even today, we have a 12-week time frame. Now with the holidays and Black Friday and income tax, we've been busy. Now when me and Mayan talk about the numbers and stuff like that, we pretty much did triple what we thought that we would do. So, we've gotten bigger. He got from one room and him and his brother to, 20 workers in 2 buildings. And, we make twice that, triple what we did a month than we used to. But with that, sometimes, stuff happens. I had a guy today, he needed some plates by Wednesday. That's why I think I posted, you guys might've seen that, we have a 12-week time frame, but we don't want to make promises to anybody anymore. Because I don't want to be the bearer of bad news if something happens. Basically, he was supposed to have him Wednesday. Mayan thought that he was supposed to ship him Wednesday. So I talked to the guy. I thought he was going to be mad. I said, look, I'm going to give you the plates and I'm going to give you your money back and I'm going to give you a discount on the next one. He sent me this long paragraph, which I'm shocked because I didn't think it was going to come out this way. I don't want to say his name or anything, but he's like, Eddie, I appreciate the apologies. That's a great thing that you did. It makes me want to buy that much more from you. I appreciate your honesty. You didn't wait till after the fact. You told me ahead of time, and I can't have nothing but respect for you. So, I mean, I was floored like that, but I just wish more belt makers and middle people would do that stuff. Because I know there's ones that do it, but it should be done more often.
I think that's smart business. Hey, Jeff, I think that's smart business. And that's why you guys have done so well for what you've done and why you're so respected, because you obviously, Eddie, you understand business. You understand how this hobby should be done. And there are a lot of dodgy makers out there. And I'm not going to name them because I haven't had a negative experience. Me and Andrew are still very new to the hobby, considering, we run a page and shows and everything like that. But, I have seen the horror stories. I have seen that sort of stuff. And you know what? And I think some people need to understand is there's always going to be mistakes. Those things can happen. But it's up to the person who you're doing business with to make that right. And I've never seen any negative comments about Ryan's work.
Well, the thing that I've always wanted, and the thing that I pride myself in, before there's a problem, or I think there's going to be a problem, being a collector first and foremost for many years, as I was telling Andrew, which you already know too. I want to get to the bottom of it and say, hey, look, man, this is what's going on. I don't pull any punches. I don't make any lies. I tell people how it is, because I'm a collector, and that's what I would want to be told. That's why a lot of these people, like, we're not perfect. That's not the only situation. And I can sit here and tell you a couple situations, where nobody was scammed, nobody was hurt, but I mean, it didn't go the way that we all planned on it going. And they're like, Eddie, we love you, buddy. Don't worry about it. I don't want anybody to hear this. I don't want anyone to know about this. It's just business. And then I've talked, which made me feel a little bit better. I'm not going to put their names out there either, but because I don't know how they feel about it. But I've talked to many admins / middlemen, and the biggest ones in this hobby. And I tell them these stories, like, sometimes, like, I mean, a lot of people come to me for advice, but there's some people I come to advice with too. You know what I mean? I ask their opinion. And I asked the gentleman today, probably the most well-respected guy in the hobby, and I told him what happened. He's like, and that happens to me all the time. What are you worried about? Just talk to him. Let me help you out with that. So he kind of helped me with the situation. Like, I've been a middleman for a while. I've been a collector for a lot longer, but I'm not too proud to learn every day. I'm not going to say I know everything. I don't have the answers for everything. I just try to be honest and give people great communication, because communication beyond everything is the best thing. If you're getting communication, if you're getting great work, like I love Classic Shields, I love Orm. I love their work. But they're just not, their communication, like I said, I don't want to throw them under the bus, but it's just not where I like to be. You know what I mean? With that. And some people like that. They just want to pay their money, get their belt when they get it. Then there's people that want the updates. There's people that want the pictures, which that equals promoting and stuff like that as well. And I can't wait to see who that NWA 3-time champion he has that Kevin just talked about there. But, it's
also just to go back on to this one that Kevin said, his NWA guest. I do know who it is, but I'm not going to mention it because it's Kevin's deal, and that's Kevin's business to promote. But I will say this: it is going to be a fucking massive, massive, massive show. So
I'm excited. He might tell me off the air, but I'm excited to hear who it is too. Just got a message from Mayan right now, actually.
No, yeah. How is he? Sorry,
what's that?
Oh, I was saying, all respect to Kevin for going out there and doing all these emails and legwork to get these guys. He's doing a great job, and I was very impressed with his green screen the other day. And big things for Kevin. Well done, Kevin.
Yeah, I love that green screen thing. I was so impressed with that. I didn't know StreamYard could do that, but when he popped that up, it just makes a whole difference on a show. I mean, it puts it from a lot of people, like, they're okay. Like with our dropbacks, right? You know, what we got going on right now. You know, it's all about the conversation, but it just creates that extra twist, and you know, it makes it look, you know, more presidential, I guess you'd say.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And as you said, Andrew, you know, going out and getting some big name guests is a very, very, very hard thing to do. You know what I mean? Like it's, you know, I've got 3 shows this week, you know what I mean? Which I've always tried to have 1 show, but you know, I'm never going to stop.
Thank you,
I'm never going to say no to having a guest on. That's for sure. Especially someone who's
right, absolutely
what we're fans of. So this week's going to be massive, but I hope that you guys will enjoy it. So, but what's sorry, Andrew?
I was going to say you're doing some great work out there getting these guys as well. Piers, well done.
It's stressful.
Yeah, more power to you guys for doing that.
Look, man. We like me and Kevin just have the same mindset. We want to, you know, we want to be able to talk to professional wrestlers. Like that to us is, you know, for me and Kevin, you know, we have that same mentality of talking to these guys and wanting to talk to these guys because it's like these are guys that we grew up watching,
right,
or have watched for years, and it's like, holy fuck, I got to talk with C.W. Anderson. I got to talk with Bill Alfonso. Yeah. And right. I'm not trying to promote myself here, but like that, and even Kevin speaking with Nick Aldis, speaking with C.W. as well.
Why not? It's a huge compliment. It's a huge accomplishment. It's nothing to, like I was telling Andrew, that's the problem, you know, in this hobby right now. You know, nobody wants to, a lot of people, they get jealous or, you know, if they're not doing it, they don't think it's cool. I'm not like that, man. I'm all for it, man. Much love to you guys for doing it. Much love to Kevin for doing it. It's a big deal. I mean, it brings us all together. Like I was telling Andrew, you know, when do I get to talk to people from Pakistan in the morning, the United Kingdom, Canada, and now I'm talking to people from Australia in the after, all in one day. I mean, 15 years ago, that wasn't even plausible, but now, you know, we're all together for, you know, the love of the hobby, and it just creates friends and lifelong friends, you know, and it just helps you enjoy the hobby that much better.
Oh, 100%. And, you know, the friends I've met and me and Kevin, we had this conversation a few days ago. It's like, if we both stop watching wrestling now, we have a friend for life in each other. And that's what it is. And that's the major thing of this hobby, which is bringing people together. And there's a lot of drama sometimes in it, which I think is a bit like not needed. Just collect, like, we're all adults, man. We collect fucking wrestling belts, dude. Like, you know what I mean? We watch professional wrestling. We collect belts. There doesn't need to be drama. Let's just fucking enjoy it, man.
I like these. So I get these lovely updates from Mayan. He's been working his butt off because you know what time it is in Pakistan right now. It's I don't know what like 6 a.m.
Oh shit!
It's like he's been working all night to try to get these belts done because he's got to ship them out, and that's the thing that people don't understand. These belts are not easy. These belts, if someone tells you 8 weeks, nothing bothers me more, and I'm not afraid to say it. I mean, if I lose somebody because of this, I don't care. If I tell you a belt's 12 weeks and you're messaging me on the day of the 12th week, you know, and I'm not ignoring, you know, if it was done, I would tell you, you know, it's okay to message every now and again, but you're like, hey, it's 12 weeks. It should be done. You know, get out. I mean, it's not like that, man. I mean, it's an art form. It's hard. These guys bust their butts, not always under the best lighting, not under the best equipment, you know, like we have. I'm not sure in Australia. I'm still sure it's better than Pakistan. You know, just like us, you know, we have access to better things than they do. So they make our dreams come true, but you know, it comes at a price. And they don't make a lot of money off of these belts. If they're charging so much, you know, they're only getting so much. You got to think the work that's going into it. You know, they got to eat, feed their families. They got to pay, you know, this, they got to pay that. So it's not as beautiful because some people, it drives me nuts. Hey, well, eBay, they're only charging $150 for this belt that you're telling me $400. Well, you know what? There's eBay. Look at the qualities. Go to eBay.
But look at the quality difference, man.
But people don't, they only see the pictures. I don't know, Kevin, let me take a look here. Yeah, the quality, a lot of times they're not given. I've seen pictures of Mayan belts on eBay that they're saying that they're belts. You know, Josh, same thing. Holy shit!
That was the same fucking reaction I had, bro.
That might be. I love Nick Aldis, but this guy is more than that. You know, more than NWA. So this is probably the best interview that we'll probably see in a long time. This is gold right here. This I'll be glued to the tube for this.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Kevin, can I get in on the loop on this? I want to know too, Barry.
That's gonna floor people right there. That brings you from I'm here. That brings you to where you're up here, man. I haven't seen this guy be. I don't want to throw the cat out of the bag. I just haven't seen. I haven't seen anybody even on a higher level interview this guy. Very seldom. So it's amazing.
Yeah, it was like I almost I had to sit down when he told me. I was like, oh,
unbelievable.
I was like, ooh. I was like,
that. Okay. That one's kind of hard to beat right there.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the only way you could beat something like that is if you have a Vince McMahon or a Hulk Hogan or a Triple H or, then you might be able to. But, I'm trying to say that in the best context to where this is an amazing guest.
Yeah. And like I said, one thing is like there's no show better than the other. There's no show worse than the other. We're all here wrestling fans trying to do our best. And that's all it is.
But that's like you guys are doing your thing. You're doing your homework. You're going out to get these people. Like Kevin is. If somebody else doesn't like it, then that's their fault. They need to go out and get these people. They need to do their legwork. They need to send the email. They need to make the call. Instead of hating what other people are doing. Like I said, these shows aren't everybody's cup of tea, but I love them. It just creates another dimension. I would like to see more reviews of belts. I mean, I do miss that. That used to be the huge thing back in the day. And like I was telling, I didn't know if you know Piers today. I was my home group when I first started was Wrestling Belt Reviews, and they just made me an admin in that today. So I'm really psyched about that. They have 2,000 people. It's one of the most respected groups, a lot of respected members. So it's a real big deal for me.
That's awesome, man. Congrats. I'm actually a member of that group myself. I think that was probably the first 3 groups I joined was Wrestling Memorabilia Club with Ryan Torgy, Brothers of the Belt. Guy. Yeah, Ryan. I love Ryan. He's a great guy and runs a great page. Right. Brothers of the Belt with Josh Hammer, another great human being.
Yeah.
And then Wrestling Belt Reviews as well. So, and then now I'm in fucking 50 of them.
I want to say I'm probably in around 10. But the reason you being on some of them is I was in just to get Myon's name out there. But thanks to guys like you and thanks to guys like Kevin, Wayne, Josh, Carmine, I don't even have to really promote. You know what I mean? People, good word of mouth, has helped us get to where we're at. So we're always forever grateful, for that. But most of the groups I'm in, I enjoy. There's some I could pay attention more than I do. And there's some that I don't know why I'm in them, but I mean, like I said, there's about 5 or 6 that I really enjoy. This being one of them.
Oh, thanks, man. And I need to put Myon over for a minute because yesterday I saw I think it was yesterday, the day before, I saw an undisputed belt with a leather cut on it, which was so unique. It was like, I think the undisputed belt is a gorgeous belt standard. But the way this leather cut is on this belt, and I'm not sure if Myon designed it or it was your customer that requested it like that, it is fucking gorgeous. Like, I was like, whoa.
Yeah, it's a very rare belt, and that would be one that Andrew, I think, would be floored over. It's actually a belt that Undertaker used during during maybe the corporation time, around that time. It was actually a custom belt that the Undertaker used that had that leather cut and the croc backing. So it was a legit belt that they used for a little bit. It came and went. If you blinked, you'd missed it. But
in the corporate, but the Undisputed came out later than the. Was that later?
It was well, you're right. You're right. It was sometime. I want to say before the biker gimmick. Before he turned to the biker gimmick, after after that, sometime in the Attitude Era, Ruthless Aggression Era, right around that time. If you look it up, you could probably see exactly. I mean, I'm just reaching, but it was around that time because the guy that his name's Tommy Reimer, he's the one that requested the belt. And he showed me all kinds of pictures of it. But the pictures he showed me, he was the Undertaker. He wasn't Biker Undertaker or anything like that. So it had to be around that time. It was, I want to say, like I said, mid Ruthless Aggression, Attitude Era, right in between there, sometime around that time.
Yeah, kind of like the transition.
Shoot me a link to them, Eddie. I'd like to see that belt.
What's that?
Shoot me a link to these pictures. I'd like to see it.
Oh, yeah. You're in our group too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll tag you on that. Yeah, I've had the most compliments on that belt than any belt we've had other than the AEW for a while. Like they saw that. I've had people order it. I've had people that want to order it. And a lot of people don't remember it. I didn't remember it until like I said, Tommy showed me, but I remember, like I said, I remember the time. I don't know why I said the corporation, but he was full blown Undertaker when he did it.
Wow, yeah, I want to go. I'm gonna have to go back and see it, man. But yeah, that belt had me. It took my breath away. Honestly, it's a beautifully made belt, and it just goes to show again, like the work that Myon's done is just, yeah. And I'm not trying to take away from any other maker, but damn, man, that is a gorgeous.
What they do, I mean, the whole thing with that, and I'll review that belt when I get it. Like I said, it's going to be shipped. Before I send it to Tommy, I'll do a review of it. I like to get the belts, make sure that they're okay. Then I video and message the guy and let him say, here, here, look at it. This is what you're getting. That way there's no, well, hey, this happened, or I didn't want this, or, we have multiple steps where we make sure that people approve it. And that's just for your safety and our safety. You know what I mean? Because there's guys that will say, I didn't want this, I didn't want that. But Myon's one of those guys. I mean, you have like Mateen. I mean, you have Orm. You have Sammy Malik, who Fight Night belts. I mean, he's using his name now. You have Luckman, who's trying. You still have Usman out there. You have that Awaz Ashgar, and then you have that other Awaz guy who's doing pretty well. I can't remember his full name. But these guys do great work. If you give them the idea and you give them the detail, they're able to do these things. A lot of people will just give them one picture and say, hey, I want this belt. So if it's not exactly how you want it, I mean, whose fault is that? I mean, they're going off a picture. Just say, if I gave you a picture, hey, Piers, I want this belt, and I give you one Google picture. Little did I not know, or you did not know, there might have been 7 different versions of this belt. You're looking at different pics and getting different pictures. So that's where I like to come into play. And that's why I make a rule where, everyone speaks to me, because Myon's a great guy. Okay. But Myon's aiming to please, but at the same time, he's not familiar with the belts like I am. So if you want something, I'm saying, what tooling do you want? Is this the version that you want? I'm telling them, this is how long it's going to take. How do you want the backing? Who wore the belt? Just things like that. That way it's exactly the way you want it. And having a middle guy like Dustin, having a guy like Jermaine, having a guy like myself, having a guy like Josh, having a guy like Carmine. If these guys, and if I miss anybody, I apologize, because I know there's some other people out there. We help these guys get the proper stuff. Like, I have a lot of belts I can show Myon. They're not magicians. That he goes, man, some of these guys think I'm a magician. I'll just whip a belt up in 2 weeks. But I'm like, they need help. So if a middle guy's doing something right, we call ourselves partners, but if a middle guy's doing something right, then they're going to get the right work out there. So there's a lot of guys in the past. You guys say that how you're new to this. A lot of middleman makers too. They burnt a lot of people, so it still has a sour taste in people's mouth. So there's very few people that are trusted. I'm just thankful that I'm one of those people, and I enjoy the hobby and I enjoy everybody in it. So I just try to be one of the good guys.
That's all you can do.
I just looked up that belt. That is magnificent.
Yeah. I was blown away. Like I mean, like I said, me and Myon's style is different. Like I'm not ashamed to say that our process, like, you got to make her, like, I've had 70 belts from Mateen. Mateen will update you every couple of weeks. Sometimes he's been swamped. He does everything. The man's human. So sometimes, it takes a little bit longer. I got some belts coming from him tomorrow, actually, that I got last year that he took a little bit longer on. But the idea is that I told him to. I'm like, buddy, if you got to get this done, I'm not in no hurry. I know I'm in good hands. I know it's that money I gave you is as good as if it's in my own bank. I'm not worried about it. I've talked to McKean the past year, especially more about just things that weren't even related to belts. So I understand how it is. I understand the process. I understand that things take a long time. So I wasn't really too worried the fact that, it went a little bit over. Things go over, man. I mean, they're only human. I'm glad to see on these pages, though, that, once someone's a day late, a week late, you don't have people trying to rant about it. Because, I mean, it's not good for anybody. And like I said, excuse my language, this is friendly fire here, but, shit happens.
Yeah, look, and that's exactly it. That's exactly it. And look, I got my first belt from Muhammad Usman. And, man, I was a fucking pain in the fucking dick. I'll tell you that much. Because I was, like, messaging him every because I didn't know what the deal was, you know what I mean? And but to Usman's credit, he just said, brother, let me work.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I just went,
well,
right. You know what I mean? It probably wasn't every couple of days, but it was I was overexcited, and I probably, and he just said to me, man,
I was the same way, man. I was the same way. One of the first makers I used was Usman. I bought 30 brass belts from him, a few years ago. Not all at once, but I mean, I bought that many from him. Usman's the kind of guy that he's steady. Like he'll make mistakes. He's not much for updating. He's not much for I got a custom title that we're going to make Kevin that we're just getting started on. But Usman's one of those people that 30, 60 days from now, you're going to get the belt. He might not update you or get back to you when you need it. That's kind of where I think Carmine comes into play with him now, where it helps a little bit more. But he's just Orm's the same way. Like, you won't hear from Orm for 4 months, and all of a sudden, you want to rip his head off, and then boom, he shows you this piece of work. Mayan's the same way. Mayan, we have communication to where I'm like, hey, buddy, where's this belt at? This guy got it 3 weeks ago. He's asking me about it. Oh, well, I'll get to it. And then it gets me worried, because I try to be real efficient with all these things. And then right when I want to just go to Pakistan and rip Mayan's head off, all of a sudden he shows me this thing, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm sorry, brother. You don't know how many times I said, I'm sorry, brother. You're all forgiven now, especially with the updates like yesterday, that Intercontinental title that he just put out yesterday. I mean, what? Like if you give them the tools to do it, and you give them the ideas, they can do anything. I think we take for granted, this isn't the WWE, where they make their belts. This isn't, it isn't them. It's not an assembly line work. These are humans, that they're using sometimes primitive tools or not up to, like we use here or you use there, and they're whipping up this magic. So I mean, it takes time. It's very hard work. I mean, Maya tells me all the time, man, brother Eddie, this is hard, man. This is hard. I don't know if I can do this, but I'm going to do it. And I'll do everything in power to make sure that it gets done. But like I said, they're just as human as the rest of us. And I don't think they get enough credit for as hard as they do work.
No, I completely agree. And as you said, these makers are out there doing the best they can to make everyone in this hobby as happy as we can. And that's why with our group, we have, Maker of the Week. You know what I mean?
Right.
And the reason why we had this was not because we want to try and get a full belt off someone or anything like that. We want to be able to shine the light onto this more. And we're not the biggest group out there, but we appreciate the work that goes into these belts. So if we can obviously do a post and show some photos of Mayan, Usman, Orm, whoever it is, just to be able to help build, if that get more sales from it or it gets more people contacting them, that's great. That's all it is for us, is because we're fans of the hobby, we're fans of the belts, and we're happy to help promote anyone that we can.
Right. Oh no, I understand, and that's the way it should be. And you got your hate people, that they like American work, and vice versa. People that don't like Americans that don't like Pakistan, Pakistan don't like America. There's enough work for everybody. And people have said it a million times. And American makers need to realize, just because they're not buying from you doesn't mean. I mean, just because you try to get rid of so and so or talk down about so and so, they're still not going to buy from you. Some people that pay $300 don't have $2,000 to spend on a belt. I don't want to spend $2,000 on a belt. There's a couple of times where I've spent good money, but it was a unique situation. I mean, more than likely, I just I'm like you guys. The rest, I'm not trying to spend a ton of money, and I'm not trying to wait years. I know Milliken's done great work. I know Reggie Parks has done great work. I know Jamar has done great work. But these guys have burned a lot of people. There's some people waiting 8 years for a belt. There's some people that have waited 4 years for a nameplate. Where's the hate for that? I mean, if PayPal 6 months in, you can't even file anything on it. You know what I mean? So a lot of these guys are just out of money. A lot of the American makers are notorious for it. You got Pakistan guys that do it too. But what I'm trying to say is everybody's human and everybody does stuff like that. Doesn't matter what part of the country you're from. It doesn't matter who you are. Stuff's going to happen. So I don't think people shed light on that enough. Where, I've even seen groups where they're saying Milliken and Reggie Parks or not Reggie so much, but Jamar, they're safe people and great people. No, they're not. No, they're not. I wouldn't trust them with $2.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of the horror stories from, especially for Jamar. I think there was people waiting over 10 years for a fucking ECW belt. And that's bullshit, man. You know what I mean?
Milliken too, though. I mean, Milliken will whip up a belt in a month for a company, but he can't even give one update in 7 years on someone's belt that already paid up front for. And it's not like $300. These are $2,000 to $5,000 that they're spending on belts. So I mean, not to hate on them, but I'm just not a fan of that. I'm not a fan of doing that and then just having a stellar reputation with people. Andy. And Andy, we got your AEW going to ship out on Friday. We're going to have those V2 picks this week. I'm excited for it too, man. I got one coming, so it's going to be our crown jewel, I guess you would say.
Yeah, man. I'm planning this year to get 2 Mayan belts made, so I'm hoping everything goes well. So
we're willing to work with you, brother. Like I said, we do payments. We're all human. Like I keep saying that, we expect you to do what you can do. There's a lot of guys that, they don't, what's up, Hippie Joe? We don't have a lot of money to spend towards belts. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of people like that. I mean, I know all of us probably spend more than we should. I know I have at times. I know I've had my wife down my throat. Why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? Well, you know what? If I get this belt, that means I got to get these 3 because those are related to them. Or, you get one belt. Well, if I got one Hogan belt, then I need them all. If I got one Rock and Roll Express, I need everything that they held. So I used to have that mentality for a while now, but now it's kind of a little bit where I want to scale down. Like I was telling Andrew, like my world-class belts from Texas, those are the ones that I have in my living room. I got 5 of those coming from Mateen tomorrow. What's up, Rick? And that I'm going to review and put pictures on. Like I said, Mateen took longer than his normal time frame, but that wasn't his fault. That was he was busy, and I just told him to let him, take your time, get it done when you get it done, get this done and get this done. Like I told Dustin King, there's belts, that they do that go to, companies and stuff like that. If I got to wait longer, then I got to wait longer. It's not a big deal to me. You're not going to see me complain unless I get ignored or I get straight out scammed. You're not going to hear anything from me.
Yeah.
What's up, Drew?
Guys, I have to jump off because I need to prepare for my show, which is about just under an hour away. Do you mind if I do a quick shameless plug, Andrew?
Go for it, Piers.
So in just under 1 hour, guys, I'm going to be joined by Corporal Robinson. Corporal Robinson is a deathmatch legend. He has worked for IWA Mid-South, IWA Deep South. He has worked for Juggalo Championship Wrestling. He was a former bodyguard for Insane Clown Posse as well. He was pretty much a promoter for JCW for a while. and he's also competed for CZW as well. Then in 2 days' time, no, hang on, what's today? Sunday. Tuesday, American, which will be Wednesday, Australian. I'm going to be joined by the ultra-violent beast, Masada, who is just coming off his no-rope barbed wire match with Casanova Valentine. That'll be 9 p.m. Tuesday night Eastern. And then Friday, I have a special guest, which I will be announcing on Tuesday, Wednesday. But Friday night, actually, fuck it, I'll announce it. Eddie's here. So I'm going to be joined by Angel, who is an ECW original. He was the leader of DeBolt and had massive, massive feud with New Jack. So, sorry to plug in the middle of you guys' show, but
no, that's a nice plug, man. Plug away with them things all day.
Man, I've got a couple of other named guests that I'm in the talks with, which are going to blow some people away. But like Kevin, I'm going to hold them close to my chest till it gets close to the time. So
yeah, that's huge, man. The one Kevin did was huge too. I probably got to step out of here too in a little bit. But I'll wait till you go, Piers. Like I said, I appreciate you being on, brother. You're a friend for life, and like I said, I can't wait to do business and maybe hit your show up again.
Absolutely, brother. Absolutely. You're always welcome. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for letting me join. Love you, boys.
Well, you too, buddy. Take care.
Oops.
Oh, definitely, Mark.
Mark's a good guy. I'd like to get him on here one day. Mark, if you want to get on here, let me know. We'll arrange a time, a date. Normally it'll be Sunday night, you guys' time, so probably easy in that respect.
And I got some world-class belts coming tomorrow, Mark. I don't know if you heard that. I'll tag you in on that so you can see those, brother. But yeah, Mayan's going to show me some updates, and I'm going to post tonight on Mayan belts. I probably got to head out of here too, Andrew. But real quick, if you don't mind, if you guys haven't joined Mayan belts, we're close to 1,000 members. We're going to have a free giveaway at that point. We have a raffle. Yes. And we have a Mid-South North American title that we're going to raffle off this week. So, keep in mind, if you guys want to get involved in that, to enter is real cheap. We use Cash App, Venmo, or anything like that. Any way you can do it. We also have Full Metal Debate with Jamie G and Raimundo Freeman. The gloves are off on that. Any question you have, any concern, any gripe that you have, you're more than welcome, to put it on there. So go ahead and join that. Also, wrestling belt reviews, Jamie G, Steven Smith, Joel Atkinson, Rich Gafe. That was my homepage that I started 3 years ago. Got nothing respect for them. They made me an admin today. So, we're going to have a lot of fun there as well. Obviously I love wrestling. I'm not going to have much time with all this and a family and my job, but like I said, I love it. We have the belt of the month right now, which is the IWGP, which we're doing 25% off. We're going to have, and that's off of $650. We have a new belt of the month coming up. All you got to do is vote. So if you get on Mayan Belts, you can help get your belt dream come true by voting for the belt that you find that's going to be most exciting. But like I said, I appreciate being on the show, and Andrew, I appreciate it, and I hope we can do this again.
Thank you for coming on, and I'll just announce next week I've got Michael Matos from what's his page? I've just gone blank. I
know I see him on Wrestling Review Society a lot. I mean, he might be on the Wrestling Boiling Room too. I know he's on there.
It is. He does all the
promos. Chris Nichols is on that. He's one hell of a dude. Paradise Customs. You need any leather done in a quick turnaround time? I mean, you're not going to beat Chris Nichols, man. Chris Nichols is it.
He was actually something came up on, I can't remember what show during the week, but he had a couple of Undertaker customs done. And
dude's awesome. He's done a couple for me.
It was one of those belts that inspired me to do my belt the way I did it. So thanks, Chris, and love the belts.
Definitely. All right, brother. Well, I'll head out here. And like I said, anytime, I'd love to come back on here, man. It was a pleasure. Like I said, I hope we can do it soon.
Thank you. Thank you for being on, and enjoy the rest of your night.
You too, Andrew. You have a good night, brother. You guys do it in MWA as well.
No worries. And tune in for Pierce's show a little bit later on.
Oh, absolutely, man. No doubt.
All right. That was it for Friendly Fire today. Tune in next week. As I said, Michael Mados from the Facebook group Wrestling Boiler Room. They do a lot of group promos and promo tournaments in the group and whatever. Wrestling Boiler Room, if you want to pop over there. My group is Multi-Continental Wrestling Alliance. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram at MWA World, and on YouTube, Multi-Continental Wrestling Alliance. And if you're watching this on my page, Down Undertaker, go there and join the group. Great group with an Aussie twist. Thanks for joining, and we'll see you next week.